Okay, I had to stop recording the last video because I didn't really like the video. So this one's called This Is Not Confidence. It's about Tony Stark,
I love this movie because it charms us with a guy
aka
we
Iron Man.
secretly want to be and then peels off his mask. We see a fancy gala for his benefit, but he ditches it. And when he's brought the night's big award, he ignores it.
Wow, will you look at that? That's
I can't believe that he's like,
We're
I can't believe that Iron Man is going to be the one that ends up tying the whole multiverse thing together. If you guys don't know, he's Doctor Doom. If you live under a rock. Hopefully now you know, or you've known, but I can't believe that Iron Man has been the one that's been setting up the whole multiverse thing inside of Marvel. I thought it would have been Captain America because it looked like they had their focus on him more, but going back and seeing these videos about Iron Man makes it seem like he was the center point of Marvel. So it's pretty cool.
Most of us go our whole lives dreaming of just one moment of recognition like that, and he just throws it away.
there you go.
But I want you to remember this award. It will be important later. Now, leaving the casino, he's approached by a journalist.
She's cute. She's all right. Hi.
Hi.
But she says something critical.
And what do you say to your other nickname, the Merchant of Death?
He takes on this condescending tone,
Let me guess. Berkeley.
trying to make her feel naive.
I like how what I've noticed from Iron Man is that he's always trying to improve.
I'll start making bricks and beams for baby hospitals.
But she doesn't.
Like comparing his ego from the first movie to Endgame, if you don't know how Endgame ends somehow, it's just incredible though. His personality just changes so much to the point where it's like he's unrecognizable from the first movie to Endgame.
Old daddy's.
He seems more
All
mature.
I want is a serious answer.
He makes like that play that
when she keeps pushing. He crosses his arms. and
he
his
makes that
voice
play
takes
that
on
like
this note of
makes him become that
almost
character that
My father
sacrifices
helped
himself
me
for
when
others.
he worked on the Manhattan Project. A lot of people, including your professors at Brown, would call that being a hero.
There's a real insecurity here, but Tony does what he always does. He uses his wit to avoid thinking deeply on what he's really doing with his life.
You ever lose an hour of sleep your whole life?
Be prepared to lose a few with you.
And the journalist takes the bait that this night together is
Damn.
nothing more than a way for Tony to neutralize the threat and enjoy a quick bit of pleasure.
I do anything and everything that Mr. Stark requires.
I like how in the third movie it kind of catches up to him though, like all the trauma from the first Avengers and Thanos coming in for the first time into the franchise. I like how they wrote Tony Stark as a character and his development to mature. Like he just becomes way much of a better person throughout these movies, and the third movie I think really emphasizes like his anxiety towards his confidence and his ego like crashing down. Like he loses everything and he has panic attacks and he starts to realize that maybe being egotistical all the time isn't the right move. Being more considerate is.
In the next scene, we see Tony's insecurities even more clearly. He's flying overseas with Rhodey, and their dynamic is the usual. This sort of barbed banter.
You don't respect yourself, so I know you don't respect me.
I
I'm
respect
just
you.
your babysitter, and so, you know, when you need your diaper change, thank you. Let me know, and I'll get you a bottle, okay?
Hey.
Wasn't that supposed to be War Machine? I heard that they didn't pay him enough to come back for the
where
second movie.
Real frustrations are sort of harmlessly translated into jokes. But after a few drinks, something changes. Rhodey's suddenly locked eye contact, and he's speaking with this relentless sincerity.
Every person that's got this uniform on.
Rhodey, yeah, that's the name.
Not bantering anymore, but instead steamrolling over Tony's deflections. I love the way Tony shifts away, almost squirming, and then he reaches behind him, pressing a button to raise the pole, literally creating the distraction that he blames for ending the conversation.
Yeah, he doesn't do that well with confrontation.
Excuse me if I'm just a little bit distracted here.
We see the facade of the powerful man fall away, and he becomes just a human trying to avoid a hard conversation. Because when he can't use his wit as armor, we see he doesn't have a solid rock of confidence underneath. Now, speaking of armor,
I think that's why he's always trying to improve.
overseas, Tony is captured and
Looking at
forced
every
to work
mistake he
with a
makes and
kidnapped
just
scientist
being
to
very
build the
careful
missile.
with the next
This
steps.
experience for him is like a never-ending version of his drunken conversation with Rhodey, because here the scientist sees him on a very human level. It's like a father trying to gently guide his wayward son.
Well, it was because when this happened, he lost everything, and he saw how his very own company that he uses to make money from and take pleasure from ended up actually being part of his downfall. At least in the first movie. You could see it too when he sees that he got hit by a Tony Stark missile. When he gets hit in the Hummer, he's like, dang, like I created that. And now that shit was about to end my life.
Yes. And I will see them when I leave here. And you, Stark?
When Tony's challenged, he responds with a tiny twitch and mouths the word no. But this time with no attacks or argument.
So you're a man who has everything. And nothing.
He's sad for Tony, sad for another human being who has lost touch with his humanity. And even in his dying breath, Yinsen doesn't let Tony off easy.
Don't waste it. Don't waste your life.
I feel like this is Tony realizing what a real father figure feels like. Because later, he'll realize Obadiah is nothing like this.
Obadiah was just using
Tony
him.
uses the prototype armor to escape the cave and returns home.
Obadiah was just trying to
This
carry the
great
company
scene
after
where
his father
Tony
died.
reveals a new side of himself.
After Tony's
Earlier
father
in the
died.
movie, we talked about how there was this performative
But I think someone's upbringing has a lot to do with how they were treated by their parents. And I think Tony Stark as a character never really had his father as a father figure, which is probably why he avoids confrontation on an emotional level so much.
aspect to his confidence, this desire to charm and impress. Now he no longer seems to care.
Hey, would it be all right if everyone sat down? Why don't you just sit down? That way you can see me and a little less formal than...
I really like this scene because I think it portrays what I want to call natural command. It's Tony's instinct for leadership without a desire for status.
Yeah, and people will relate to him more. So it'll be like now he's this down to earth dude and he understands like struggle because he had everything stripped away from him for a few days or however long it was that he was in that cave for.
I saw young Americans killed by the very weapons I created to defend them and protect them. And I saw that I had become part of a system that is comfortable with zero accountability.
Robert Downey Jr. is
He's also
just
talking about
so
himself.
good at conveying this impulsiveness.
I never got to say goodbye to Dad. I never got to say goodbye to my father.
It's a core part of Tony Stark,
You ever lose an hour's sleep your whole life?
Be prepared to lose a few with you.
and it's such a beautiful thing when that impulsiveness, that burning brilliance, is now compelled.
I think
to
RDJ
say
did
what
a
is
really good
true and
job
right,
as
rather
Iron
than
Man.
Whatever makes Tony look good.
Who knows
No
how
longer this
it
sort
would have
of
went if they
flowing
would have casted Tom
substance,
Cruise.
Smooth and almost greasy, like a used car salesman.
I'll be throwing one of these in with every purchase of 500 million or more. It's a piece.
Now he's willing to really plant himself within the current of another person and just take the full force of it.
We're ironmongers. We make weapons.
It's my name on the side of the building.
And what we do keeps the world from falling into chaos.
Not based on what I saw.
Now, remember that award Tony ditched, mocked, and then gave away? Well, here's where the movie famously tells us what really matters instead. Proof that you have a heart. I think what's interesting here is that Pepper doesn't give this award for Tony's heroics. She actually doesn't even know he's built the suit at this point.
I thought you said you were done making weapons.
It is. This is a flight stabilizer.
She gives it to him as a sort of loving challenge. I mean, this is a third person in the movie who's believed in Tony's goodness and offered love to him, even when he struggled to offer the same to them. After Tony re-encounters the journalist he slept with, she confronts him about the latest atrocities his company is associated with. And although
Dang.
he's still defensive and angry about being challenged,
I didn't approve any shit.
Well, your company did.
Well, I'm not my company.
the difference
W.
is that this time
W
he
Mans.
genuinely reflects on what she said.
What's going on?
Tony, you can't afford to be this naive.
In fact, it becomes a catalyst for Tony's first mission.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying. I think everyone notices that Iron Man, or Tony Stark rather, learns from his mistakes and he tries to prevent them as much as possible. So this is probably part of that. He saw how destructive his weapons were after he was affected by them himself and then said, okay, we need to stop selling weapons now. But as you don't just see it in the first movie, you see his character development all the way through the entire time that he's in the MCU, you know, which is pretty cool.
Based from their lands by warlords, emboldened by a newfound power.
Now, you could argue he's not really risking his life here because the suit is so overpowered against the average combatant. But as we reach the end, when his business partner uses a rival suit to wreak havoc, Tony's odds look much worse. And I have to point out something here that might ruin Tony's arc across a wider franchise, but the truth is, he makes the ultimate sacrifice here, or at least attempts to.
Time to hit the button!
Even before those other movies. Which makes the very last scene of the movie even more interesting, because we see Tony grappling with something. Yes, he's changed enormously. I mean, he's just nearly died trying to do the right thing.
Right.
But he's still weighed down by the shame of his flaws and mistakes.
I'm just not the hero.
He probably feels guilty.
With this laundry list of character defects, all the mistakes I made, largely public.
So the movie asks us a question. Are we allowed to not just change and atone,
Truth is,
but to fully embrace a new identity as a good man?
I think the way that I'm seeing it now after seeing this video is that like money really doesn't make you happy, but it's ironic to say that when it does make your life easier. So for a character like Tony to have so much money, to be like the happiest man on earth for what it seems like on the outside is not how he feels like on the inside. So I think it's a good thing to appreciate if you have great amounts of wealth, but if you know what it feels like to struggle, then it makes you appreciate it that much more.
Its answer, famously, is yes.
I am Iron Man.
W-Mans. It was a W video. I didn't have anything else to react to, and I had to do one quick before tonight ended. So if y'all stuck around to the end, W.
When are we gonna have the intros? The intros, bro.